In this video, I'm going to show you how to create beautiful animated graphs and charts with a tool called Flourish. And then I will show you how to take that data visualization back into Canva so that you can tell great stories with your data. Let's go.
All right.
What is up everyone, Ronnie here. Welcome back to our channel. And if this is your first time here, well, congratulations. You found the best channel on YouTube to learn about Canva. So subscribe right now and go back to our previous tutorials to learn a thing or two about Canva. Trust me, these are the best tutorials. Today's video is about data visualization and how to create beautiful and animated graphs and charts and use that to make it easy for your audience to understand that data, to tell a story with your data. So without further ado, let's discover Flourish. Let's see what it is, what it can do, how it works, and then jump into a real life project that I think you will find very cute. So let's start with what Flourish is. Flourish is a tool, a website, to help you visualize your data and tell stories, to build stories with that data. And what sets Flourish apart from the other data visualization tools out there is that it's super easy to use. It lets you create animated graphics representing your data or telling a story with your data, and that with absolutely no coding necessary. And also, these graphics, they look great on mobile. They are mobile friendly. And so I guess because Flourish was so accessible or easy to use, kind of catch the attention of the people at Canva. And I guess last year or 2 years ago, Canva acquired Flourish, which is a UK-based company. And now Flourish is part of the Canva family. And so what this means is that we can expect to see more and more integration between Canva and Flourish in the near future. But if we come back to today, I just wanted to show you how Canva and Flourish already work very well together. Just be aware that there will be further integrations in the future. We're not there yet, but I still think Flourish is really worth a look. So let's do it. Let's have a look under the hood and let's see how Flourish works. In order to start using Flourish from the Canva editor, you will need to head over the More tab in the Object panel, so the side panel. So you will have to find Flourish right here in your apps. So this is the Flourish app. Just click on it. And if this is the first time you use Flourish with Canva, you will have to connect the two apps. So just click on the purple Connect button and you should see a dialog box popping up, prompting you to create a Flourish account. So simply follow the steps that you will see popping on screen. And once you're done creating your account, which is, by the way, completely free, you should see this screen right here indicating that your Flourish projects will be showing up here once you have created some. All right, you're now all set and ready to go. Now, in order to actually create some content and data visualization, we are going to head over Flourish.studio. Okay, this is where you need to go after you create your account. Normally, you should already be logged in, and what you will see when you log into Flourish is your Flourish homepage. So this is what it looks like. It's basically the equivalent of the Canva homepage where you will see your different projects. So now, currently, I do have 3 different projects, but if you just created your account, your homepage should look empty. And in order to start a new visualization, you'll have to click on this button right here that says New Visualization. The Flourish workflow is pretty similar to Canva's workflow and is very straightforward. You'll first have to choose a template. Okay, so when you click on New Visualization, you will get straight away to the templates page and you will have different bars and chart templates, starting with your more traditional, I would say, graphs and charts. Those are the line, the bars, and the pie charts. So that's the first section right here. So you can choose any of these. Projection maps, so graphs with maps. And then you have a bunch of different graph and chart types that you can choose from. Just be aware that the ones that are highlighted in Bordeaux right here are the Pro templates. So you'll have to have a Pro Flourish account to access these templates. But Flourish has been very generous about what you can get for free. So I wouldn't recommend you upgrade to the Pro version unless you are a scientist and you really go deep into data, because you can do a lot with the free version. So let's go back to the top and let me show you, once you have picked your template, which is the first step, I would say, in the Flourish workflow, let's say you want a donut chart. So you open that chart and this is what it will look like. You will see your visualization right here, and on the right column right here, you will see different settings that you can tweak in that specific template. And I will talk about this in a minute, but I just wanted to show you, you will see your visualization. If you are on the preview tab, if you head over the data tab, this is where you need to input your data. And there are different ways of inputting data into Flourish. You can upload your data, and you'll see you can upload different types of formats like Excel, CSV, TSV, JS, I don't know what that is, like all these kinds of like data kind of things. I'm not a data guy, I'm not a numbers guy, let's admit it. But still, I managed to pull out some pretty good data visualization with Flourish. So stick around, because even if you suck at numbers like me, this tool is really good because it's so easy to use. So basically what I want to show you here is that you can upload your data via a file, or you can also merge different spreadsheets that you might have so that it complements the set of data you already have right here. And the other way is just simply you can type in your data right here in this spreadsheet, or equivalent of a spreadsheet with rows and columns that you see here. So that is to access your data. It's this tab right here, this little guy right here. Back to my visualization now. So the workflow works like this. You pick a template, you swap the data for your own, you start tweaking with the elements in this column, which I'm going to demonstrate in a second, and then you can export or publish your data visualization. You see, it's not published yet, so you can publish that. So when you click here, basically you will create a website. Let's publish this to show you what it looks like. So you will have a link. When you click on the link, you will see your visualization, and you see the little animation that is part of the visualization right here. So I'm going to close that. You can also embed this visualization on your website using this piece of code right here, or you can download your graphic as an image, or you can add that to a Canva presentation with this button right here. I'm going to unpublish this for now because this is just a template. I just wanted to show you the different steps in the Flourish workflow. All right, guys, enough theory. It's time to get our data analyst hands dirty and create a story about the data we've been working on. And when I say we, I mean we, like the hamster experts. I have a very important study about hamsters and their population, their growing population, if you didn't know. And what the heck, Ronnie, why did you choose a story about hamsters? Well, for a very important reason, because hamsters are very cute. Indeed, hamsters are very cute, and that's why the Institute of Hamsterology in Europe has recently worked on a very important research. And that research is about how fast the hamster population is growing. So I do have a couple of slides here that I have created in Canva, and then 3 specific sets of data we want to present here about the hamster population. We'll talk about the hamster when divided by breed of hamsters. Then we'll talk about the hamster population in different EU countries. And then we'll see what are the top 5 European countries where there are the most hamsters. Okay, some very important data sets right here. So you might have guessed it, on each of these 3 pages, I will be importing some data visualization from Flourish, which we are going to work on in a second. Then our data story ends with our team of heroes, our researchers that have been working super hard on collecting this data and producing these data sets. Very important, we need to give them credit. And then at the end, there is a last slide in our presentation for those of you who might have any question. You might direct your emails to hello@hamsterinstitute.eu. All right, now that we have the base, let's head over to Flourish and create some data visualization. So for the first visualization, I have a set of data that shows the population of hamsters divided by breed. And you might not know, but there are 5 really important hamster breeds in this world. We have the European hamster, the Syrian hamster, Chinese hamster, the winter white Russian dwarf hamster, etc., etc. So I kind of want to showcase the importance of each of these different hamster breeds among the years. And for that, we are going to head over Flourish. And what I want to use is some sort of animated chart. Like I want to start strong my presentation and impress all the other scientists in the audience so that they too start using Flourish. So there is a particular impressive type of charts right here. And these are the line chart arrays. Okay, so you have these graphics and they move with the timeline among the years, and you see the evolution of the graphics. And I will be using this second template right here. It says simple. Let me show you what it does. You see, this is basically what my chart will be looking like after I change the data. So yeah, this is the type of chart I'm going to be using for my first example. So what I have done here is I have already started to input my data in this project right here. So hamster 01 breed. Let me open this project to show you. So I do have my racing chart, and I do have inputted my data right here. So you have the 5 dominant breeds of hamsters right here: European, Syrian, Chinese, Russian dwarf, and Roborovsky dwarf right here with my data. Okay, so the preview looks like this. That is the first step. That is the base. You always need to pick a template, swap your data, and then you get your visualization. But now I want to show you a couple of tweaks we can do to really make this super nice, extra nice, and look great in my Canva presentation. So you will have to play around with these settings right here. Okay, so play mode. You can have different type of things here. You can have, like, we can see all, zoom, and I will replay this. So you see it zoomed in instead of like seeing them all. When it's zoomed in, it kind of follows the different data points, okay? Or you'll have reveal. So I'm gonna leave it on all for now. Then you have scoring type, chart sizing. So that's the size of your chart. I'm not gonna mess with this. Colors, we could change the colors, okay? If I come back to my presentation here, I can see I have a specific, I would say, set of colors that come from this specific template I have been using. So the template I've used is this one right here. So you can see here, this is the style, the color palette of this template. So I could definitely pick the colors from here. Actually, they are already pretty much here on my document colors, and insert that into my Flourish palette right here. Okay, so in order to do this, you would have to click on the little arrow right here under palette and edit the color palette, and simply swap these hex codes for the colors in your Canva document. I'm not gonna do this because this will take quite a long time, but I will choose another preset palette that looks more on brand, I would say, with my current presentation. So I will go with the Faro and Bore one. So this looks now a little bit more on brand with my presentation. So that is for colors. We can also play around with the line styles. Okay, so the line width, see, you can make the lines wider, thicker, or smaller. I'm gonna stick with 0.3, which is good. Opacity, straight, normal curve. You can have curvy lines, straight lines. So the amount of customization is quite impressive. Shading behind the lines. So you see there's some subtle shading. So it's on, you can have that off if you want. I'm gonna keep that on, it's kind of nice. Lines between missing data points. Don't want that. Okay, so I'm gonna close lines, circle style. So the circles are the little circles right here. So this is also very nice. I'm gonna make the starting circle smaller. Let's start at 0.2, actually 0.3. And the end radius, so at the end, I want to make that much bigger. Let's go with 2. Yeah, 2 is pretty big, but let's go, yeah, maybe let's go with 1.5, okay, 1.5. What I see here is that I do have an option to insert some images inside my circle. So I'm gonna try to do this based on these images right here of my different hamsters. So for that, I will need to head back over my data set, okay? So here in data, you will see on this part of the screen, images. And if I click on the little question mark right here, it says use the URL of the images to use and accept that column types as ABC, okay? So what I need to do here is to create a new column, okay? So for that, I'm gonna go back to my chart right here, and I'm gonna right click, insert a column left, yes. I'm going to insert a column here to the left, and you will see by default it's an ABC type of column for my data. So that's great because that's what I need for my image selection right here. And then what I'll do is simply paste here the URL of my photo. So for the European hamster, let's say this is the European hamster I want to grab. So I'm going to copy the image URL, the image address. I just right click on this image, go back to my chart here. I'm going to paste that first URL, okay? And I'm going to do this for all the other hamster breeds right here. You see Syrian, Chinese, because I do have all of these images. So I'm going to do that quickly. All right, I am done pasting all the URLs of these photos right here. Make sure when you do something like this that you have permission to use these images. Me, to be honest, I don't have permission to use these photos. I'm just using them for the sake of showing you that you can insert images into your graphs. All right, so the last thing I need to do is to specify where the images are going to be fetched from. And they're going to be fetched from column B right here. So I need to insert B right here in this box because this is where Flourish can fetch the images. Okay, I think this is good enough. Let's go back, and now you see that my hamsters are now showing beautifully in the little bubbles right here. So this is absolutely what I wanted to do, and this will look great on my presentation. Now, the last thing I want to show you is that you can also tweak the animations, okay? So you can reduce the length of the animation. You can make that much quicker, okay? So I think the quicker, the better. So let's make this number the smallest possible, which is 500. And yeah, you can add a header if you want, a layout. Yes, I'm gonna change some of the stuff right here. I'm gonna change the background right here to match the background of my presentation. So for that, back to my presentation, let's click on the background, grab the color code, which is this one right here. So in order to change the background color, just click on the little color button right here, and you will see different options. You can use the RGB settings. If you click here, you have the HSL. If you continue clicking, you'll have your hex code. So this is where you will paste your hex code from Canva. And it doesn't seem to let me do it, so I will have to just type it F2BDD. All right, there you go. And now I've changed the color of my background for the same color as in my presentation. Just a little fail here that I cannot paste the hex code, which is a little bit annoying, but not the end of the world. All right, I think I'm done with this graph. I'm just going to head back to my home page, and you will see this will have been updated. Now, it is time to insert that graph into my presentation and see how it looks there. So for that, heading over my presentation by breed, I'm gonna reduce this. For now, I don't know if I will keep this little icon, but what I do know is that I'm heading over to Flourish under my apps, finding Flourish right here. And you should see all of your current projects that are on your Flourish homepage right here. And I'm gonna use hamster01. But before I do, I'm gonna refresh my presentation to make sure I do have the latest data available here. Okay, hamster, let's go. Just clicked on it, and there you go. It's nicely integrating in my slide right here. You see the exact same background color. All I want is to make this a bit bigger. I'm gonna get rid of this and make it about this big. So obviously from here, you can start doing other things. You could add a title to your slide, but this is what the slide looks like. You could change the source, but I guess this first slide looks pretty darn good with my racing data points here about the hamster population by breed. All right, that was a success. Let's move over the second graph, which is a map type of chart. Okay, so back to Flourish. I have started this map thingy right here. So what we have here is a map of Europe with the population of hamsters for a given year. Okay, so if I go back to my data set, this is what I'll have. I will have all the European countries with the corresponding population of hamsters in these given countries. All right, let's see what the preview looks like again. So this is what the visualization looks like. We see the countries with different colors, with the darker color being where there is more hamster population. You see, the darker it gets, the more hamsters in these countries. So we see the UK has a bunch of hamsters, The Netherlands have a bunch of hamsters, France, Belgium, while there is much less hamsters in Portugal, for example. And again, this is very important data that everybody should be aware of. That's why we want to include that in our hamster presentation. A couple of other things I haven't mentioned here on the top is the preview settings, I would say. So you can see how this would look on a desktop computer, but also a tablet. It resizes the side of my screen here, and on a phone as well. Okay, so I love that Flourish gives us these different adjustments of the size. And you can see this in full screen as well by hitting the full screen, the arrow right here. It will open a new tab. All right, let's see what kind of settings I can change on this graph right here. Okay, so I have the projection. So if you play around with the projections here, you can choose different types of maps or different ways of representing the maps. I'm not gonna mess around with this because I found this way of representing the map of Europe was actually pretty good. You can add some padding, you can play around with the region layers, so you could have an inner stroke, the width of the stroke, so a lot of like granular control over all of this. Me, I just want to look at the layout, okay? You can change the font of your graph, which is interesting. You can change the color of the background, okay? Or you can add an image to your background, which is currently turned off. So let me turn that on. And then the next thing you need to do is to specify where is your image. So I don't have a specific image right now, but what I could do is to go back to my Canva presentation right here, and I have created a page number 12. You see it's after my presentation is finished. And this is a slide I would like to export and use as the background of my chart in Flourish. So first I need to download this slide. So again, this is slide number 12. Okay, so I'm going to download this in PNG and I want page number 12 only. So let's go ahead, download this. There you go. I need to make sure to know where that is. Okay, it is in my downloads. Okay, very good. Thank you, Canva. I can go back to my Flourish here. Now I can let Flourish know where that thing is. It's in my downloads, telling a story with Flourish. Okay, this looks good. Now, the last thing I want to do maybe to change the colors of this graph so that they blend a little bit nicer with the background right here, okay? So in order to change the colors, I'm gonna have to exit the layout section and find this other section right here called region layers. So if I click here on the little arrow and scroll down a little bit, so basically these are the settings related to my regions, so the different countries, the regions of the map, I can find a setting called palette. And we are using the blues right now. Okay, so a blue color palette. So I have a choice between other ones. So the oranges look nice and they would blend nicely with my background right here. Let's see what else we have. Blues, greens, grays, purples, viridis. What is viridis? Oh no. Inferno, no. Magma, no. Okay, warm maybe, no. So I guess what works best here would be the oranges. So let's select oranges and that looks good to me. Now the last thing I want to change is the source right here. Okay, so for that, simply head over the footer section right here and you can simply change your source. So the source is the European Institute of Hamsterology. Okay, and the source is hamsterinstitute.eu. hamsterinstitute.eu. Okay, www.hamsterinstitute.eu. Perfect. I do have the new data right here. This looks great. I can now head back to Canva right here where I just exported my slide number 12. I'm going to delete that. Head back to my second data slide right here. I'm going to delete this guy right here. I'm going to refresh as well to make sure I have the latest data points already connected with Flourish. And this is hamster number 2 right here with the world map. I'm going to insert that straight into my presentation and I'm going to make this as big as my page. Okay. There you go. Actually, I can even stretch it bigger. like so. Let's continue maybe. Okay, this looks good. So when we look at this full screen right now, there you go. We see everything is here. I have my sources at the bottom, which are clickable. And I even can search using this little magnifier for example, Belgium. Let's search for Belgium. And then you see Belgium will be highlighted here. So that's what I'm talking about when I say we are creating animated and interactive charts and graphs with Flourish. This is the interaction here. If you share this presentation, even in the view mode, people will be able to use that search option and search for any country. Like they search for France, France will be highlighted, and then they can hover over the little bubbles right here and see the population of hamsters in these specific countries. And that's pretty amazing for a hamster lover like me to kind of determine where I want to go live in Europe. All right, guys, we are making some good progress with our presentation, our scientific presentation. We have one more data visualization to create. Now that we have the data about the distribution of the hamster population in Europe, let's talk about the top 4 countries where this population is the biggest. All right, so for that, let's head back over to Flourish, and I have started this data set right here. I have given it a name, so the baby hamsters born per country. I can change that, definitely change that. So that will be my header. Okay, so let's change that for top 4 EU countries. Okay, title font, that's fine. I can change the font. I can change pretty much anything you want here. You can even add your logo. So this is something I did by simply adding an image here. I'm gonna remove that, it's not very on brand. So image, I'm gonna disable the logo right here. It's not on brand. So again, quickly, a few things I need to change here. I want to change the color palette of these donuts. Okay, so for that, I guess I just need to go to my colors, pick a different color palette. I'm gonna go with the furrow ball again. This looks nice. I have already updated my footer right here. So you have the header, you have the footer, and I want to adjust these donuts, okay, because I have an idea. I need a bigger donut hole here in the middle. So in order to do this, in order to change the shape of your donut or the size of the hole right here, you'll have to head over to the segment section right here. So segment donut hole percentage, it's currently on 30. So let's increase that size all the way to, let's say, 60? Well, let's go to 65. Okay, 65. So I think this looks good already. Let's preview this. Yeah, this is how it's gonna look. You have the different years here and the population of hamster per country. We have Holland, Belgium, France, and the UK. All right, this looks good. Let's import that into our presentation, and then I will add a final touch that I think you'll like. So heading back to my Flourish app extension right here and importing hamster 03. Okay, this is what it looks like. I like that. The only problem is the white background. So I'm gonna delete this, head back over Flourish, and I'm gonna try to get rid of that background. And I think this should be under my layout option, okay? So layout, background, color off, maybe. So maybe there's no more color now. Let's try, okay? Let's go back to Canva, I'm gonna refresh and head back over page number 7, Flourish, and import hamster 3. Oh, there you go. I made my background disappear simply by turning it off. Okay, so now I'm gonna position this very nicely right here in the center. And the last thing I want to do to make this last slide a little bit more on brand, I'm gonna add some hamsters running in these donuts, just like they were hamster wheels. So finding some hamsters in my elements, hamsters, hamster, filtering by graphic. So we could go with this one right here running. Do I have just like a nice hamster running? Maybe this guy right here. Yeah, this is good. Let's see if I can make him fit in this donut right here. Okay, I can collapse this panel for now. Yeah, this looks pretty good. Just need to make him realistically run into this donut. Yeah, looks good. And I'm gonna add a last one right here. Maybe I see all of these. Yeah, maybe this one falling, that would look nice as well. In the last, this one is like, oh, what am I doing here? Okay, I'm gonna zoom on this one to really adjust this. Kind of want to make as if this one just fell. Okay, looks good. All right, I have my presentation right here, and I think I'm good to go, guys. The last thing I need to do is really to show you this presentation. So from here, there's a couple of things you can do. You can simply export that presentation as a document. If you want to share it as a PDF, for example, download PDF standard. That would be the classic way of sharing this. Or you can turn this into a website. If you click on website right here, presentation would look nice. You open your website with your presentation, you will see everything. You can add animations as well. And what I want to show you is that your data visualization will be working smoothly from within your presentation. So that is pretty cool. And you can interact with them as well. You see, you can replay this chart race, anything really that has some interaction inside Flourish will be carried over to your presentation. Again, you can search for any country you like, and then your last thing right here is your slide with the hamster distribution in the top 4 countries. So as you can see, we've been creating some pretty impressive stuff with Flourish and Canva, and I'm not a numbers guy. I mean, I'm probably the worst when it comes to creating a graph. Don't even show me a spreadsheet, like I'm not into that at all. But working in Flourish was pretty interesting. It was pretty easy. When I was researching for creating this tutorial, it didn't take me very long to really figure things out. Things were very intuitive, and it made the whole experience pretty flawless and pretty fun, actually. So there you go, guys. Flourish, a must try if you work with data, if you work with numbers. Let me know in the comments, like, did you like this tutorial? Are you going to give Flourish a go? For which kind of projects? Also, let me know if you want to see more tutorials about Flourish on the channel, because I feel like I barely scratched the surface. All right, thank you for watching this tutorial until the end. Please give me a like so that we will be pushing this video to more users. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you want to see more cool tutorials like this one. And I'm gonna leave you guys with this other video I created recently about publishing and selling your online publication with a very interesting platform called Issue. So make sure you watch this one next.